Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, August 14th, the Vigil of the Assumption, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Well, as we said, tomorrow is the Assumption. Today we have the Vigil of the Assumption. The Abbot Orsini tells us that this used to be a fast, and he notes of which mention is made by Nicholas I, who was Pope in the year 858. It is recorded that on this day, angels were heard in the city of Sasson, singing their anthem, Felix namque est sacre Virgo Maria, et omni laudi dignissima, quia ex te ortus est sol justitiae, Christus Deus noster. The meaning of which is obviously immediately patent. It probably means something like, happy are you, Blessed Virgin Mary, and most worthy of all praise, because from you is born the Son of Justice, Christ our God. Anyways. Likewise, they celebrate Notre Dame du Che in Saint Maurice Valley in Switzerland. Nestled against a cliff face, or a sé, 400 feet above the town and the Abbey of Saint Maurice, the Chapel of Our Lady of Sé counts over 1,400 years since its founding by a Benedictine hermit named Saint Amatus in 611. In the chapel of the 1600s, which was extensively remodeled in the 1700s and the 1950s, as is to be expected, an enthroned Virgin and Child from the 1200s occupies a niche above the altar. Both of the painted wood figures wear crowns, and the Virgin holds an orb, possibly signifying a fruit signifying her role as the new Eve. On August 14th, the night before the Feast of the Assumption, pilgrims gather for prayers at the Abbey Basilica, and then climb the 484 steps to the chapel for midnight mass. Likewise, they also celebrate the shrine of Madonna del Sasso, which was founded in 1487, right? Now, according to tradition, they say the shrine was founded in 1487 by a Franciscan friar, Bartolomeo Piatti di Ivrea. Because here it says it's after the Vigil of the Ascension, but I think it actually means the Vigil of the Assumption. In 1480, Our Lady appeared to him. And so for that reason, this has always been a very important center of the city. And eventually he started out with just a little shrine, a little chapel. And then it became, it gradually transformed into the idea of a holy mountain, right? And so now there's a lot of, like, the whole place is a center of religious life. In fact, there are still Capuchin friars there who take care of it. And there's also many ex-votive offerings, right? Especially because of all the many graces received from Our Lady. So that's what we're celebrating today in the Marian world on August 14th, the Vigil of the Assumption. For today's Marian meditation, taken from the book by Father Ildefonso Villar, we start meditation 65, entitled The Meeting with Jesus. And today we'll read the first point, Jesus loaded with the cross. Jesus is again clothed. He leaves the purple mantle and the scepter, but retains the crown of thorns. He is a king, and as a king he is going to die. The crown will not fall from his head. He embraces the cross, raises it, and places it on his shoulders, and the cortege moves on. By his side, soldiers and executioners insult him and ill-treat him. Around him a mob shouts insults and curses at him. They watch his painful advance, and they rejoice at it. Two criminals sentenced to death escort Jesus. Look at him. Hear his painful breathing. He can hardly move. A streak of blood marks his trail and betrays the precarious state of his poor body, all torn by the scourging. The cross is very heavy. It is not its material weight that crushes Jesus, but especially all that it stands for. It is the burden of all the sins of all men. What a frightful weight! Your sins were also enclosed in that cross that crushes Jesus. No wonder he's overwhelmed by it. Yet, nobody comes to help him. He looks around and does not find any single volunteer to help him carry the cross. He looks at you, and at most he gets only fine words. Lofty desires, but nothing practical. What are you doing to alleviate that burden of the cross of Christ? Do you remember this in your many faults? He looks at his heavenly mother, and behold, she is the only one who did not contribute to the burden of his cross with any sin. And she is the only one who knows how to console him, to alleviate him, to help him. Stand by her side. imitate her and ask her to teach you how to comfort Jesus.
Hello, and we hope that you enjoyed listening to our Marian podcast. In the spirit of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, we say to you that there is no greater delight than to spread the devotion of Our Lady. We hope you share these sentiments and encourage you greatly to share with a loved one. Know that you are always in our prayers, and we ask that you keep us in yours. God bless.